Hi guys, welcome back to episode 6 of Better World Podcast. And today I thought we could talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the reason for that is I was thinking I would like to at least give one thing or piece of news or idea or positive thing you can take from this show each episode to potentially have one thing that positively impacts your life and you as an individual and hopefully the world. So I thought I would just give a few of my thoughts on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Just simple thoughts, nothing too refined. And so let's jump into it. So the current popular model that I see for Maslow's hierarchy of needs is in a pyramid with 5 layers. And the first layer is your physiological needs. And those would be air, food, water, shelter. Sorry, I had to take a quick break there. Sometimes I'll have to just to look back at my notes, but I did it again. No. Okay, clothing and reproduction. So some of my initial thoughts were most of us have to work hard in order to supply all of those in our lives, or our parents do. So that first layer is really just to cover our basic physical needs, which we all have to work for in order to achieve or retain those needs, or a few of them at least. So for example, food and water, clean water, have to work for. Shelter you have to work for, and some you don't necessarily have to work for, at least in a lot of developed countries. Air, clean air is nice. Clothing, you have to work for clothing, but it can be basic clothing, but still it's an expense. Shelter, which is a big expense, which I think I said that and repeated it, but big expense of shelter. And reproduction, which is for the majority just given, don't have to work for, but your basic physiological needs you have to work for. And then level 2 is safety, which is also another very large amount of things that you need in order to feel safe, which requires a lot of exertion of your time and work, which would be personal security, property, health, employment, and resources. So really none of those things are going to come to you without having to work really hard for them or to retain them. Maybe personal security if you live in a simple neighborhood that's safe, but still even that still likely have to work for it in order to be in a safer environment. So all of those next level needs require essentially consistent income and employment or working. And so kind of how I view it is, I think the majority of our working lives is to be able to sustain those needs. And that's for a lot of people, I feel like it's between 70 to 90% of their work is dedicated to those needs and being able to retain meeting their needs. And outside of work, I think we tend to, focus on the other aspects of life. Some people are fortunate enough to have more of a balance or more time to be able to enjoy the other needs and not those two basic needs. But what I thought of was that a lot of the third level needs, your love and belonging, are very optional, or you are able to have more influence over them than maybe your first two basic needs, because your circumstances may dictate how easily you are able to provide those first two needs. For example, if someone grows up in a lower income area, their basic needs, those first two level needs, are going to be a lot harder to provide consistently a healthy amount. But what they have a lot more control over and optional control over is the love and belonging, which is family, friendship, sense of belonging, and intimacy. So I think what is an important idea or concept to think about when thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs is it's not necessarily that you have to go from the bottom up. There's a lot of crossing over in the pyramid. And what I think you see by observing some communities that may not have those first two layers of needs met, sometimes that third layer of family and friendship and connection really it makes up for and encompasses and enriches people's lives that have that connection, even though they may not have as fulfilled needs in those bottom two rungs. And in a lot of times, people who have connections with friends and families, and those connections, in a way, can live better lives than those who have those first two met but are missing out on that third level completely or in a lot of ways. And so that's, in a way, a little nugget of encouragement or advice for maybe some viewers watching who aren't as in fortunate circumstances to provide all of those first two levels as easily as others. And one of the things to mention is that if on that third level of love and belonging, the more friendship and genuine connection and intention and close relationships with others who you can actually build healthy community with, you have more support and strength in life versus just being alone. And someone like you are able to more easily have those bottom levels needs met when you have others around you that may not be met if it was just you alone. So I think that's, something to be encouraged by, and just important to realize. So I think you have a lot of optional influence over that third level. And yes, I do think if there is someone who is lacking in those first two levels from the environment they grow up in or have around them, it can make those friendships or family or sense of belonging harder, for sure, definitely. But you also have examples of people choosing the option of being intentional with those friendships or connections or certain family if possible, and it usually enhances their life and creates a higher standard of living, and just experience in life, I think. And good decisions, good relationships, good connections can elevate your life and those around you, and you're able to help their needs, whether sometimes emotional needs or physical needs or financial needs with those around you. So that's an encouragement, hopefully, to some of you. And then we have the fourth tier, which I think is, it's what everyone is a lot of people are aiming for. And so all these, like, first two definitely, and even possibly the third quite a bit, feeds into trying to get to this fourth level, or just this fourth space of the pyramid, which is esteem, which I probably have the most thoughts about it initially. Of that's what seems like when you are working to be able to pay for your food and your water and your security and your health, it's so you can achieve that level of esteem, which in some ways I think is good to aim for, but also you can be missing out on the point, because I don't think a high level of esteem is going to impact your life as richly as the level of love and belonging. Because I think there can be people that, at least from society or status wise, they aren't given a lot of recognition or esteem from those other outside people in the world. But I think they have their own esteem, and that's enough. So anyways, in this fourth rung, there is recognition, strength, respect, self-esteem, status, and freedom. And I think that this rung is the most, you can fall into a trap there the most, right? Because I think that's when you achieve some of those things, if you don't keep your pride in check or focus on what's really important in life, I think that level esteem can make you look more inward versus outward, which I think you usually have a better life if you're looking outward. But regardless, let's go through. So recognition, you at this point, actually let me cut back to respect. So I can see this one as being a good one if someone who's able to provide all of those first two levels of needs, and have a healthy third level of love and belonging. That's obviously going to have an outward expression and to others, that other people can respect that. And I think in many ways that can be positive and good and a good quality and trait. And then we also have self-esteem, which I think is good in most aspects. I think it's important to have self-esteem, and I think that's great to be able to feel good about what you've done or what you do, especially if you have a positive impact and a positive influence on those around you in the world. I think that can be great. I think when it comes to status, that's the one you have to be careful of, because it can kind of start to change who you are or how you look at yourself and others. And I think some status is certainly important, and especially if you do it in a responsible way, it can be a great thing. Like, certain politicians at certain levels, if they're respected and they have certain status, I think it can be used for good. But obviously there's that side that you just have to try and to make sure that you have the most positive impact you can with that. And then you have strength, which I can see as a positive thing. it's good to be strong. It's good to build strength and build your mind and your intelligence and your awareness and your physical strength. I think all of those are good things. Obviously, strength, wielded not in the right intentions, could not be good. But it's important for there to be individuals that do wield strength in an integrity type of way. So that's one of those that, for the most part, I think is good, but you have to be careful of too. And similarly, recognition, kind of similar to respect. I think recognition could be good. I think it could be good in a lot of ways for the most part. I think about the recognition of someone who is, again, like a local politician, or someone who is, I'm trying to think, the superintendent. Like, that's an example I think about. A superintendent. People recognize them in the school system when they come by or they're talked about. Superintendent. So with improved achievement and just positive decisions and all that, recognition can be a good thing. And so I think that's a good one too. And then you have freedom in that tier two, which I think is one of the most powerful things that can be a positive influence, and also a thing that can take people off track of maybe what they really actually want to do or be. And so I think that freedom one has the most power, and that's what everyone wants, right? We all want freedom. We want financial freedom. We want health freedom, or the freedom to travel, the freedom to buy this or that. And so I think, again, it's just similar to the esteem one. It's like there are a lot of positive impacts and influences that can come from it. But also, I think taking it a little bit at a time and being grateful and thankful for the freedom usually will have a better impact than maybe being free all of a sudden. So that's just some thoughts. And then, each one of these levels will take intentionality and time and effort and exertion. And I think that's part of people growing, is if you can have goals to set and look forward to, understanding a diagram like Maslow's hierarchy of needs can help you and impact you if you implement it and apply it to your life, I think. And then you have self-actualization. And I don't actually love that term, self-actualization. It just makes me think of it as in a selfish way. So I would prefer to replace it with something similar to impact actualization or influence actualization. But I understand it's the self, and it's just a description of the individual actualizing their full potential, right? And so let's just go with the understanding that it's someone who's able to reach their full potential, and I'll just change it to impact or influence actualization. And it allows people to achieve you're never going to achieve 100% of what you'd want to, but it allows you to achieve a lot of what you want to. And I think that's an incredible thing. We should all strive together to create a world and society and countries that allow others to achieve that, and to allow your own self and your own individual person to achieve that more while you are alive, but also your future children and generations. And so I think we should all strive to allow others to become that, because people who want to have a positive influence on the world will be able to do that more if we allow others to make it easier to achieve a healthy life that gives them freedom and health and sense of belonging and intimacy and relationship and purpose and respect and esteem and influence and allows for positive things to be innovated and put out into the world for others, for the betterment of others. So just like anyone, throughout life, you're on this journey of trying to retain these first two levels and improve on your third and fourth level. That way you can ultimately, be the best version of yourself that you can be to make the best impact or influence, whether that be the best dad that you're able to be, or the best leader, or best teammate, or worker, whatever it may be. And I want to give a reminder that you can be all of that before you achieve the top level. You can be someone who has a sense of belonging and friendship and is able to build your relationships with your family, and you're able to work a little harder to make a little more money or have a little more financial security or a little bit better health, stability, and gain a little more respect you can do all of those things before you achieve the top. And so I just encourage you, keep moving forward, keep working on little things at a time. Yes, I think the bottom two are the most important to exert a lot of your energy into retaining. But when you don't have to exert your energy on those two things. Build your friendships, build your relationships, build your own esteem in ways. And that's what I encourage you to do. And it's hard, but especially if you live in a country that allows you the advantage or opportunity to pursue those things with better odds, I say take full grateful advantage of them and pursue them. And again, there's a lot of mix-over and overlap, and find what's most important to you. If putting the most amount of your time into your friends and your family is more important than you having nice clothes or even a certain level of financial stability and things, then do that. Do what makes you most fulfilled. And I will say, there are things that are definitely outside of your control that you have no control over, and that is life. Certain people, they do not have control over their health or certain aspects of their financial well-being or their safety based on where they live. Those are realities too, and I just think that's part. I want to live in a world where we make positive impact and positive influence to bring more people to having those positive options, to have better health options, other financial opportunities. Because right now, none of us really are guaranteed any control over those things, and I just want to do whatever I can to make a positive impact and influence on others in this life and the world, to give others better odd or opportunity. So anyways, that is today's episode. If you made it through, I would give you a golden chocolate bar or golden ticket or something. So comment it down below and maybe I'll mail it to you or something for making it through. Anyways, thanks for watching. That was episode 6, and see you guys next time.